Scorpio, thank you for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan, Supportive Oracle Cards, Chakra Wisdom Oracle Cards by Tori Hartman, illustrated by Gretchen, and there's her last name. My nose is like itching all of a sudden. I don't know what's going on with that. But ooh, the Sun card popped out for you too. Did that happen for every... I think it happened for every water sign. I do. Now I want to throw those down there. We're pulling from the bottom of the deck now. Well, why not? Why not? What do you got going on here, Scorpio? Alright, so I think you're going to do quite well. This reminds me of, was it Pisces, where I think you're going to do fine. I think you're going to do fine. What's going on around you? We'll just have to see. My first thought is you have differences with someone. And this is somebody you're trying to deal with in the sense of, like, they're always going to be there. That's my first thought. Like, this is somebody who's just, like, they're always going to be there. For whatever reason, they're always going to be there. So you're trying to just handle it and deal with it. You're doing, because you're right on that forefront. You're like, well, they're going to be here. So I got to find a way to handle this. When you're coming into it, the Four of Wands that's the energy telling me they're always going to be there. You seem to be accepting that. The King of Swords is like, yeah, but even though they're going to always be there, doesn't mean I'm just going to sit here and let them do what they want. I'm going to say my piece and they're going to hear it. But it's kind of also, you got the Moon on top of it, like, I don't know what's coming next. In the sense of, it's not like the other person, but you're just kind of like, these problems just pop up left and right and I don't even see them coming. But I'll say my piece when I need to. This isn't going to stop. But the Moon card right on top of it is like, there's problems. Problems just keep happening. And it's just kind of like, I feel like you're blindsided, even though this person seems like they're pretty dependable, for whatever that means. But they get upset about things and you don't see it happening until all of a sudden they're upset. And you're like, well, what happened now? It's kind of like one of those feelings. Like, well, what are you upset about now? Like, what now? The Five of Cups is between you and whoever you're dealing with. I do feel like this is a person. It's not all bad. There are good qualities to this person. There are definitely good qualities there. But it's just kind of like... I feel like, ironically, I do feel it's like, to you, it's like it's popping out of nowhere. It's just like, there's a problem again. Like, we're having a problem again. Why? Why are we having another problem? Like, what's the big deal? I feel that energy constantly popping in. The other side has karma, I'm noticing, too. Which... I feel like you're on opposite sides of the coin. Like, they feel... Like, give me a second with this, because to them, they feel like things are supposed to be a certain way. There's a certain, like, this is how you do it. And to them, you're the one causing the problems. I don't think you're causing problems, but to them, that's how they see it. I feel like this is just somebody you just work very different from. Very, very different from. They do things their way, you do things your way. They don't seem to get how you do things. They seem to question things. They don't seem to have confidence in the way you do things. They're confused by it. It's almost like, even though you're doing good now, they're like, the way they're watching you do it, they're like, well, that's only going to last so long before you screw it up. They don't seem to have confidence in who you are and how you do things. It doesn't matter if this person has known you a long time. They just don't seem to jive with your energy. They just don't. Not in that respect. But karma on their side, it makes me feel like they think that they're completely in the right. They literally think they're completely in the right. I feel like if you step back one, both of you definitely just have completely different ways of handling things, and it's just conflicting. You do things your way, they do things their way. it doesn't mesh. It just doesn't mesh. Nobody's really doing anything wrong is the thing, though. It's just the way you both handle things. And they get upset with you because the way you do things they think is wrong. They think that's a disaster waiting to happen. It's not true, but that's how they feel about it. And that's why they feel like they have to say something. Because if it wasn't for them, things would go crazy, in their opinion. I don't think that's true. You definitely just both have two different ways of handling things. It just doesn't mesh. I feel like this is where it's starting from. It could be the past for most of you. It's got a weird feeling to it, like maybe the past and current energy might be both. They just, once they hold on to something though, they're like a bulldog or a pit bull or whatever you want to call them. They get their teeth in it, they're not letting go. That's what I'm feeling. Like they're just not letting go. This is an energy that can become very obnoxious because you could hold your own, and you could also be stubborn if you really wanted to, but it's kind of like looking at it like, where am I going with this? Like, where's it going to get me? They won't back down from it. They won't back down is what I'm getting. This is a problem here. They do feel very vindicated that they're right. They have karma on their side, but the thing is, karma, that's a weird card. Karma, judgment, it's kind of all the same, the way this feels. They're different, obviously, but the way this feels in this situation feels similar. It's kind of like, if somebody's just like causing disruption, if they're refusing to let things go forward, like for example, if you're damming up a stream, the karma for damming up a stream is like that water's going to back up somewhere else. The water's going to find somewhere to go. I feel like that's the best way to explain this. Like, karma's kind of like, I don't want to say karma's like anybody's friend or enemy. Karma's just like, this is the result, and this is what's happening. You put it, you dam up the water's going to go somewhere else. Like something else is going to happen. You cause this situation, something's going to come back. That's not really how I see karma, by the way. So that karma card, the word karma isn't really fitting for this reading for me. Because karma, for example, is like if you scare somebody with a spider and they're deathly afraid of spiders, the karma of that is like something will happen to you that's definitely gonna scare you. Like if they're afraid of spiders and you scare them with a spider, that's what's gonna happen to you is like maybe you're gonna lose lose something, and you're going to feel like this is the end all be all of that. That might be your benefit of karma. I don't think we need to go down that road. I don't want to go down that road. This is like I feel like when I just did that, this is the rationalization of this person. They're like, but this is how it is, and this is how it works, and this is how you go about it. And you might see it that way, but this is how I see it, and this is how it actually works. And I'm kind of wondering if that's why that came through that way, because I mean that is how I see that, but like everybody has the right to see it their own way, in my opinion. This person is just not backing off, and it's damming up the waters, and I'm getting like the quest here is kind of like the quest with the impasse is telling me they're creating a whole new cycle here based on how they're handling this. They're damming up the waters, they're causing a problem, they're not willing to let it go, they feel like they're completely right, they feel completely vindicated in their actions. This is causing a whole new situation to arise. You know what I mean? If you dam up a stream, that water builds up, and you got a lot of issues you're going to have because of this. And even if you just let it go after a day or two, you're still going to have damage from it. I'm just saying. Just saying. Now, I'm noticing on your side you have the Wisdom card. I feel like you're trying to step back and let this person have their way. But it's already created a new situation. The quest is already starting between you and this person. Even though I feel like you're backing off, kind of like, this isn't worth it. I'll just, whatever, it's not worth it. I'll just let it be. I'll move on from it. It'll be fine. I'm getting, even though you have wisdom on your side, in the sense of like, I'm not going to fight this losing battle. It's either both of us lose or I just let it go. Because there's no winning with this. There's no reason. I'm not going to put on all this energy just to run myself into the ground for what? No, I don't think so. I'm just going to move on from it. I'm seeing it though. It's weird because you have the Queen of Cups on your side, which don't get caught up in the gender. So whatever gender you are, don't worry about it. Queen of Cups on your side tells me there's a lot of emotion here, that you really do care about the situation, you do care about the person, just sometimes they're difficult to deal with. Ace of Pentacles is showing up on their side, which the Ace of Pentacles, yeah, that's a good card, but when it comes to this situation, I feel like what they're saying, what this card is basically saying is like what was set in motion is now going to happen. Like the karma, the impasse, the quest, it's all coming in. Like they created a whole new situation. It's like they created a cycle. It's going to start. I feel like it's starting here. Between you and this person, you got the Empress. Nope. The High Priestess. Which is telling me this situation, this next phase coming in, you seem to be okay with this person at this point. The two of you seem to be getting along. You know how far you could go with certain things before they're going to kind of snap. They also seem to know how far they can go before you can't stand it. So it seems like the two of you are at, when the beginning of this next phase starts, you're doing well. You're kind of doing your best to respect each other's boundaries. They realize you're only going to be able to go so far before you just can't stand it. You realize you can only push things so far before they're going to lose it. So you're just kind of working with each other in a very cooperative way. It's another cycle coming in. I feel like it's because of this, though, it's coming in. I feel, especially with the Wisdom card, you're trying to really hold things together. You're trying to do it the way this other person wants it done. I feel like you're trying to get into the situation best you can. You're just like, I'll just do it by their rules, and then we don't have to have problems. I don't really want to have problems with this person, and I feel like that's your, especially because you have the Queen of Cups here, I don't want to have problems with this person. I don't want to have problems with this person. So you know what? I'll just do it their way. But I feel like doing it their way, it's slowly going to edge at you. It's going to drive you crazy. Because I see Victim card popping up on your side, kind of like you're feeling blocked in. And it's very stifling. You don't really feel like you could have your own voice. That's the Victim. Like you don't feel like you can have your own voice. You're like, if I try to say what I want or I try to change things, we know where that's going to go. And for this reading, one of the things for this reading is to say, don't get stuck in this card. This is going to create a different type of imbalance. Like, you could try to do it their way to a point, but at some point you have to start having your voice again. Don't let yourself feel like a victim. If you start feeling that way, like, I can't say what I want to say because then things will go out of whack, or I can't do this because that'll happen, starting a conversation about it with this person is the first step, because you can't let this happen to you. Don't let yourself feel like the victim. If you feel like you can't even say something, that's that victim feeling. That's not good. You got to find a way to relieve that. Even if you have to get a third party to like help you sort this out, to find a way to work this out, just be careful of this. Don't become the victim. Because I feel like, for some people, I don't feel like they realize that that's kind of a victim energy. When you feel like you can't say your piece, or you can't express how you feel, you're being shut down, and you can't even communicate, that's a victim energy. That's not good. Because I feel like what has to happen is when you start feeling that, something has to come forward where the two of you can talk this out. You might need a mediator. It doesn't have to be like a legal mediator, but like somebody that you both feel is honest and that will help both of you work this out. Because the impartiality with this, the way this feels, is like this is a new cycle. Like this needs to go into a different level. Things need to be worked out differently now, because there's new problems that are going to start creeping up if this doesn't get balanced soon. Now, I'm getting somebody else coming into the situation is going to help you greatly if you can do that. Another thing here is like I feel like there needs to be some type of break. If this is somebody you work with, finding a way to where the two of you don't have to work with each other as much is what would really create a very positive change here. I literally feel like, I don't feel like this person is never, they're always going to be around. So we already said that in the beginning. You had the Four of Wands. This person is not going anywhere. They will always be around. But it's kind of like, even though they're going to always be around, doesn't mean you have to be attached at the hip. Doesn't mean they have to be right in your space all the time. There's changes. There's ways to move things around. I'm getting there needs to be some division. There needs to be some separation. Like, you need to be able to do things on your own. And, you know, how much ever you have to deal with this person, then deal with that person at that, for that much. There has to be some division. I feel like you need a break from this. It could fluctuate going forward. Like, sometimes you do things more apart, sometimes you do things more together, and it just goes back and forth and back and forth. But you need this reprieve, because this is not good. Because I feel like if you're able to do that, I'm getting the Chariot is what makes things better. If you have more time away, it's not going to be permanent. I don't feel like it's permanent time away. I know it's the Chariot, but I feel like this is saying it's a permanent change that could actually work, where you're, you know, sometimes you're working, you know, they're not working together as much, more, less, more, less. This is a change that will make this tension dissipate. It will help things relax. It'll help you be more comfortable. When you have to deal with this person, you're like, well, I can give in to them a little bit more than usual because I don't see them as much anymore. But then when I'm off on my own doing my own thing, I can flex more and do things the way I want to do them, and that makes you feel a lot better. Again, the Four of Pentacles here, the connection with this person is not ending. It's not stopping. It's not going away. It's going to keep going. I feel like this is good for you to have this. Now, I am going to also say this. For the other person, things go better for them too, but they have the bittersweet with it. So it's not going to be just easy for them. Like, you have a certain energy, you have a certain drive. It's going to bother them that you're not around as much. But then again, it could less, more. Less together, more together. It keeps fluctuating back and forth. I feel like this is bittersweet for them because it makes things easier for them too. But it also, it puts more responsibility on them. I feel like this is a fair balance, though. By pushing it where they've pushed it, it does put more responsibility on them for certain things. But I feel like this is how it has to go. It's better for both of you. I'm noticing that Sun card for them. But I feel like this is also pulling over to you. I feel like it's also your card because you have the Chariot. I feel like the Sun card is really good for you because I do feel like you get along a lot better with this person. Things are a lot easier with this person. I do feel like they miss you, ironically, but it's better. It's healthier. It feels a lot healthier. I do feel like they miss your interaction. They do miss your interaction, even though they get very frustrated with you. They very much miss the constant interaction. But it's a lot better for you. It's a lot healthier for both of you. But you feel a lot more security is what I'm getting. It feels a lot more comfortable for you. This person is not out of the situation. It's just sometimes you do things less together, sometimes more, and it goes back and forth. I feel like that's a lot better for you. I do feel like it's better for them. They're going to get used to it. I think this is the result of being this stubborn energy. That's the result of this stubborn energy. I feel like they called it into existence. I do. I feel like they called it into existence. Ironically, I feel like to them it's not the best opportunity. It's not the best way for this to work out, but it actually is. I don't think they would agree it was, but I do feel like this is the best way for this to work out. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.